Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Woldridge.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 7 of Doom Patrol, titled Dumb Patrol. Miranda helps protect the Doom Patrol from some truly terrible ideas after a mysterious package arrives at Doom Manor. Rita's visit to the Cloverton beekeeper leads her to confront her lingering mommy issues. While on his way back to the manor, Cliff ends up stuck on the side of the road, literally. And Niles heads north to find Dorothy's mother. There's a lot going on in this episode. I think the more concise things that happen are like Cliff being stuck on the side of the road after he fell from space. Which,
sure
by
did.
the way, we do get a shout out to Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man.
Yes.
My side, the dinosaur side, wrote a book.
Yeah.
And I would not mind if I would read it.
Yes.
I'd want to know what happened. Because last time we heard, he was going to court and he'd been shot in his minerals. So
That's
he was
right.
Yeah. He was okay.
Yeah, I would like to see more from that character. Also, we do get a check-in on, we can touch on this later, but we also get a check-in on what Mr. Nobody's been up to. Yeah.
Which we got in a couple of these episodes early, so I was talking to you off camera about there's an explanation as to where he is, and I thought it was very good.
Yes, agreed.
I thought that really paid off. I don't know what that's going to look like when it airs on HBO Max, because that's an ad for a different service to go use.
Yeah.
But hey, doesn't matter. Good for them. That was a solid joke. But
Harley Quinn should be on HBO Max.
Yeah. For Cliff's story, he's stuck on the side of the road. He's doing promotional videos for this guy so he can keep using his phone. He's trying to call everyone he knows. He keeps calling his daughter, and he says messed up stuff and bad stuff and all this stuff. He needs a better body soon.
Yes.
ASAP. He's not doing super well, but he's able, for the most part, he kind of has to sit with himself, think about what he's done. And by the time he gets home, his daughter is back.
Yes.
At the end of this episode. And I'm excited for where that goes. That was kind of the most concise story, besides him falling from space and having to deal with that and getting a bird that pooped on his head, like that, which is bad because I realize he can't wipe it off of his face.
No,
man, his life sucks.
The good news is that I don't think he can't feel it, right? No. But which is what a Pyrrhic victory that is, huh? The bad news is you can't feel anything. Good news is you can't feel when a bird poops on your face.
Yep.
All right.
Take the wins.
So, and I also think the other big thing this episode is, this is the first time we get to spend some real time with Miranda. Actually, help me out here, because there's a few things this episode that confused me. I ended up the episode being confused, and now one of them, thinking back on it, is what was the package? Why was it delivered? What happened there? Because it ends up being the painting that they have.
That they had given with Willoughby. That was part of the deal.
And so the guy gave it back. The guy Willoughby sent it to. Gotcha.
And it said don't open.
Yes.
Very clearly it said don't open it.
Unfortunately, it looks like it wasn't quite as sealed as well as the person who sent it thought it was.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, but really quick before that, because that's the main meat of the story, I did want to say Rita's storyline. I did like her interactions with the beekeeper.
Yes.
Who is not a great mom. Who's not a great mom. They're trying to be like, parents are, fallible. They do make mistakes. They are people and everything. It's he's like, you keep calling your daughter dumb.
Yeah, but in her defense, I agree with you. But playing devil's advocate here, what if her daughter really is that dumb?
But then get her help. Get her help. Don't just keep saying how dumb she is and go tell her to go deliver honey.
Yeah.
But I like Rita trying to get into the role. You have her trying to deal with these mom issues throughout the season. And it's giving it, for me, it feels like it's giving Rita not more to do, just a more specific goal in this season.
Yeah.
It feels like, because in the other one she's literally just trying to keep herself from falling apart, which is cool, which was always really cool. But I like what they've been doing so far.
Agreed.
But yes, on to the main story. We have Ronnie visiting Doom Manor for the first time, and Larry's sad because of the astronauts that died, and there was they all ran Niles and Cliff ran off to space, and it's just a little taste for Ronnie right off the bat of this is what we're dealing with. And immediately they all break the rules and they open the box.
They open the box, and Miranda's the only one not affected. Did we determine why Miranda wasn't affected?
No, but it felt like when another personality came out, it was affected.
Yes, so it affected all the other personalities, and we've been getting hints, and we'll dive into this more in later episodes, that there's more to Miranda than meets the eye, and not in a Transformers way. But for those like me who weren't, when you saw Scants, you're like, Scants. They're infected. These characters are infected by these microscopic beings called Scants that have shown up in the comics, specifically Doom Patrol number 7 in 2017, which was part of Gerard Way's run. With that run is primarily Gerard Way and Nick Darrington. This issue was drawn by Mike Allred, who's an amazing comic book artist. And the bit is pretty similar, although like a lot of these adaptations, not quite as weird as it gets in the comics. Pretty close, but not quite, but not quite as strange as it gets in the comics. I think one of the characters ends up because of the scan starts mutating into like a squid monster. Anyway,
hey, they still make them look really cool.
That was my favorite bit.
I like the makeup.
If I'm being candid, I thought this episode was silly to the point of being kind of disposable. Like, other than, and we should spend a little time talking about Chief's storyline. Other than Chief's storyline, everything kind of felt like filler. But the hardcore, like, Doctor Who Monster of the Week energy that was going on with the Scants, I was all about that. I thought that I liked the design. I liked the way the Queen interacted with the crew. Of course, I thought the bit with Beard Hunter was really funny.
Oh yeah, he paints himself
so
that he can blend in. Hey, which he might be affected with some dumb stuff too, but at least I couldn't tell. At least he has enough sense to paint himself, so that way people can't see him.
Where did he get the paint? Great question. Let's not dwell on it.
And Mr. Nobody, being a fourth dimensional being, slipped over to another DC Universe show, and he's got a lot of work for himself over there. So go watch Harley Quinn, or watch our reviews for Harley Quinn, season 1 and 2, because he's doing some great work over there.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, no, and it was good to see Beard Hunter again. I like that because he did get trapped in the painting, but I was like, didn't we end with an okay note for Beard Hunter? Like, it didn't at the end. Well, because he went to Danny the Street and he was attacked by the saber-toothed jackalope monster.
Manny, by the way, as I found out I remember the other day that Dorothy calls that creature Manny.
Manny. Yes. So attacked by Manny, and because they found Beard Hunter had found Dorothy at Danny.
Yes.
And when the group goes back to Danny the Street, he's walking around, he's living a life, and he's okay. Like, he doesn't like have the addiction, like he's doing a lot better. So I thought we were okay with him, but also, and I don't think he helps out Mr. Nobody, but he is stuck in the painting with Danny.
Yeah.
In the last episode, that's why he got stuck. In my head, I thought Ezekiel, the cockroach, and the rat were the ones who got trapped in there too. But who cares? Doesn't matter. It seems like they're friends with him, but they left him in there anyways.
I will say, I've been rewatching the show, and we just got to the Beard Hunter episode, and which ends like you're talking about. He eats Niles' beard hair, and he finds Dorothy's chamber, and we were confused at the time. We assumed that some Mr. Nobody shenanigans were going on, but he ran into that felt version of Niles, which I now realized was like, I think was meant to be Dorothy's personification of Niles in that space. And it's like, it's a bummer we haven't brought that back, because rewatching it is really disconcerting. It really makes me really uncomfortable. And it's like, that'd be cool imagery to have. Maybe they were saving it for the finale, but whatever.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Beard Hunter, we run into him. We go into the painting. Ronnie's dealing with this great because she's dumb. Also, Cliff almost does surgery, like serious spinal surgery on her.
Yeah, Vic, yeah.
And Miranda's the only one to kind of help her out. And we do get some moments with Jane in the underground, kind of being like, hey, we should be like, I don't know, wary of like what's happening. Like, maybe like she's willing to give over the control, but also she's that something's up. She's at least aware that there might be something else going on with Miranda, or at least going on with the underground.
Because Scarlet Harlot and some of the other personalities are vanishing, which is disconcerting.
It's teased that maybe Kay's getting healthier.
Maybe.
Maybe, but I'm gonna guess probably not. Like, it probably doesn't. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like a good thing. But we're able to take out the Scants Queen, which working on the mechanics here. the Scants make people dumb and then harvest the goop from their ears.
Yes.
And I'm not judging the weirdness. I'm just making sure I follow.
Yeah.
They eat the stuff, pink like gas or something comes out of their ears, goes to the Scant Queen. She eats it because it's called Uma jelly.
Yeah.
And that gives her superpowers. And if that happens, she like kills everybody that they took it from and like a big threat. Mm-hmm. And like Willoughby Kipling is trying to warn them against it. He even puts on that butt mask.
Mm-hmm. Wear your butt mask. Listen, Doom Patrol should sell those butt masks for people.
Yeah. At whenever in 3 years when we feel comfortable going to a Comic-Con again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one. It feels safe. Hey, because it's fun because you get to wear the masks. That way you can wear them at the cons and it's safer. A little safer. Little safer, but he doesn't really matter because he got affected immediately when he went in there, and he had a pretty good plan of I'm going to let her kill me, and then I'll have her right where I want her. Mm-hmm. they were pretty close, but we do take out the Scants Queen, and this is where we want to talk about the Niles part, but also we're left with Ronnie taking something. And I'm glad you brought it up when we were talking off camera, the Uma jelly.
Yes.
Right?
She leaves with a vial of the Uma jelly that the queen was storing. And I don't know about you, but I'm like, I don't know what this means. Like, I don't know what she can do with this. Because I think I was a little bit in the woods on it giving the queen powers. So I didn't quite know what it would do for Ronnie. Also, the logistics of like getting in and out of the painting. Well, I don't need to get hung up on that. But I was a little unsure what that meant.
Mm-hmm. We do know that Willoughby does have a hang up for Baphomet, the singing horse with a nail in its head from last season.
Who wouldn't?
And Ronnie's got some secrets, but it is surprising that Miranda couldn't even be read by the Queen. Couldn't even be like, they knew there was something going on, but something's concerning. I really like Diane Guerrera's different. Maybe it's the confidence. Of course, it's her skill as an actor. Yeah. But there's this way that you are able to distinguish each of the personalities so well, and even with Miranda popping up, it makes it clearer to know who Jane is too, by having all those different personalities. Because at first you're like, is she just Hammerhead? In the beginning, let's be honest, it felt like it was a little hard to distinguish, and then when you found out 100%. Hammerhead had tattoos, you're like, oh, that's Hammer.
Because Jane spent a lot of her time being angry about stuff, so it was a little bit hard to distinguish between the two. Rewatching season 1 and kind of remember when we watched it first time, it wasn't until the episode where you go in the underground that I felt like as a watcher, like, okay, I kind of have a handle on Jane's deal now.
Like, specifically that personality.
Yeah. When the Queen is confronting everybody, she says to Vic and Ronnie that their entire relationship is a mistake, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah. You're so bad for each other.
Yeah, and I guess it was one of those moments that I was just like, I am not invested in Vic and Ronnie's relationship as much as I think the show wants me to be. Because when I feel like I'm invested, but you can tell that like Ronnie keeps saying to Vic, it's like, hey, just so you know, like this isn't going to work out, and he's like, but I can do it. Then I kind of like those kind of relationships because it's going to blow up for Vic. It's going to suck, but and Ronnie is trying, but she did warn him about like. She's got issues. Yeah. And while she's going to like group and trying to work on it, she still has them and she needs to work on them. Yeah. But that was a harsh thing for the Queen to say to him. Yeah. She's a real jerk. I'm did she need to blow up? Maybe not. But hey, stuff happens.
She did.
She sure, you know what? She sure did. She sure did. And I think that was a good moment of realizing that Miranda has a better handle on the other personalities than Jane does, because she's able to like whip them out at will, like get stuff done, and it always feels like Jane. It's a little more haphazard with Jane.
And what's the Silver Tongue one? Though I
think her name is Silver Tongue. Yeah, I think her name is Silver Tongue. Yeah,
it's one of the coolest.
Yes,
still agreed. One of the coolest.
100%. And finally, let's take a second to while all this is going on, Niles lands the spaceship. Where he originally met, I believe the cave woman's name is Slava. I'm going to double check that real quick. Slava, yep, who is Dorothy's mom, and he goes to find her while Dorothy's asleep in the ship, and he has a vision that affirms for him that the Candlemaker, who we've been kind of teasing all season, is a long-standing threat even before Slava, and that it might be intentional that it was put upon Dorothy. And the impression this episode left me with is that Niles has resigned himself to the fact that Dorothy can't really exist in this world, and so he makes a deal with Willoughby to take care of it for him. Because Willoughby's not above that. If we learned anything from the 2 episodes Willoughby showed up in last season, he's not above that sort of thing.
No. And he's you like him.
Yeah.
It's hard not to like him because he can be summoned by people singing little songs and whatnot and doing like weird little sacrifices. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, like, yeah, you don't kill a kid.
Yeah.
Don't kill. But she can literally like wish any kind of imaginary friend she wants into existence, and maybe sometimes she will manifest them without even trying.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. They could, like what I think Niles in the last episode in Space Patrol mentions, could cleave the earth in twain.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the right thing, but Niles has been known to make the wrong decision.
Oh, once or twice. I think it's fair to say once or twice.
And definitely for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever those end up being, either it's for himself, for his daughter, or for the world.
Yeah.
But they are selfish. They are not made altruistically.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because we touched a little bit on this last episode, and I think even more so, I think part of the character and what makes it work is that it is selfish, but also the altruistic nature and the selfish nature are so intermingled with Niles that they're almost completely impossible to parse the two out. Like what's an altruistic decision and what's a selfish decision for Niles, they're basically the same thing.
And also what they mentioned about Candlemaker, not only is he a bigger threat than Niles, or he is a bigger threat like Niles anticipated, but he didn't know what effect. And this was something that, like, if I'm remembering correctly, that the ancestors who kind of manifested Manny, that's what you said the name of the creature, manifested Manny and other creatures. They've been kind of developing Candlemaker for a long time and like kind of empowering whatever this thing is as something that could end the world. Just
Yep.
Ugh.
We'll find out. We'll find out more soon. So what would you?
Nothing, but I really enjoyed this episode. I just this season I've just really liked. It's not as, I think we talked about this, but it's like as we kind of get to the end or closer to the end, it's like it isn't quite reaching the weirdness of season 1. It's not doing like these big waves, or like sometimes I had a friend I was talking to who's watching season 1 right now, and they're like, they have to take it 1 or 2 episodes at a time because it's so weird. And then the last like 10 minutes, they bring it home and they land what all the weird ideas meant, and you're like, oh, cool. Yeah. Or it's a 2-parter, and then you get the explanation in the next episode. Sometimes it takes. We're just not getting those like big weird waves, but we are still getting really strong character moments, and the characters are all going to interesting places, both physically and on their own personal journeys. So I really enjoyed it. I give this like an 8.5.
For me, this episode was felt a little bit like filler, but it's still it's hard for me to overcome with the love I have for these characters, and so even on a weaker episode, I still have a lot of love for the show. So I would give it an 8 for me. And I'll be interested to talk with you more as we get closer to the finale about this season and how it compares to last season. So y'all stay tuned for more of that discussion. We've got 2 more episodes after this. So tune in on Thursdays for more reviews from us.
Yeah, watch it on HBO Max, or tell your friends to grab DC Universe because they've been supporters of our show and they've let us watch these episodes early so we can get these out on time when the episodes air. Mm-hmm. So thank you. That's nice of you. Mm-hmm. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below and what your theories are for the finale as it starts to wind down for season 2. Hopefully we get season 3. I know that there was a quote that came out from Abigail Shapiro, who plays Dorothy, who mentioned that they had basically filmed another episode, but there were a few pickup shots they needed to get to complete the story that they could not get. Yeah. So that's a bummer. That's a serious bummer that we're not going to get one more. Well, I just want as many episodes as possible for the show. So it's a bummer we're not getting an extra one. But that being said, let us know your theories down below, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.